Hi, how are we doing today? Are we good? Are we great? Fantastic. Let's get started. Starting off strong, we are talking about one of my favorite demigods, literally for no other reason other than the movie about what he went through, sorta kinda. We are talking about Perseus today. And in case you're just like, what movie is there about Perseus? Like, who? Percy Jackson? I should slap you. The beauty of Clash of the Titans. Perseus holds a special place in my heart for literally no other reason except for this man right here. This is Sam Worthington. This Australian man. This man is the reason why I am even involved in mythology of any way, shape, or form, because his movies, because there's Clash of the Titans and there's Wrath of the Titans. I'm not gonna sit here and recommend Wrath to you, but if you want to watch it, go ahead. Ares is Venezuelan. I'm just gonna say that. But that movie, my dad used to watch it so much, and I would always hang out with him, so I in turn watched it as well. And I liked it because of all like the energy and the action. And Sam Worthington was very cute in '09. But then also he was like my first familiar actor when I was like 6, because he was in Clash of the Titans, so I knew him from there. But then I also knew him from my second favorite of all time, equally obsessed movie when I was younger, Avatar. And on top of that, he was in Terminator Salvation. So, I just saw him everywhere when I was a kid. But I loved this movie and it got me into mythology as a whole. So, homework, go watch this movie. Oh, I'm getting off topic. Let's begin. So, Perseus, not only is he my favorite because of just the movies, he's also my favorite because of his mother and what his conception story actually is. Because, bitch, what the fuck is going on? So his story begins in the city of Argos, which you may know it as a city, I know it as a city and a person. If you only know it as a city, thank God. If you know it as a city and a person, you've seen American Gods, we all need therapy. The ruler of the city was King Perseus, right? We see him in the film that I mentioned earlier as this weird, decrepit looking man who's very, very prideful. And so he decides one day, he's like, I want to see what the future holds, because everyone in ancient Greece just couldn't wait to see the future. They didn't want to live in the present, they wanted to live in the past, but they always wanted to see what the future was holding. So he went to the oracle and was like, what is my future, dear Oracale? And the oracle says, well, your daughter Danae, she's gonna give birth to a son, you're gonna have a grandson, which is like, yeah, patriarchy. But at the same time, this grandson will grow up to overthrow you and take over your kingdom. Now, if I were King Perseus, what I would focus on is the fact that the person who's going to overthrow me and take over my kingdom is someone within my family. Meaning, when she gets pregnant, begin the preparations of stepping down and giving the kingdom to my grandson once he is born. Raise him through as a prince, through the kingdom, learning stuff, like a regency type shit. And then when he's old enough to take over, he just takes over. No overthrowing, no murder, no scandal. But that's common sense. We are in Greek mythology, and there's no common sense in mythology, so what even the fuck am I saying? King Perseus, being the father of the year, takes his daughter Danae and locks her up in a tower. Grimm's brothers, I see your inspiration. I'm totally kidding. But, like I said before, we are in ancient Greece, so two things are always bound to happen. Rash decision making will not be in this topic, and Zeus will probably get someone pregnant. So at some point, I don't know if it was like before all this went down, him going to the oracle, figuring out what his future was, or on her way up to the tower, but Zeus saw Danae and was like, I want a piece of that in my mouth, please. Knowing that she was locked in this tower, knowing that no one could really get to her in a way that would really make sense, and he couldn't get her out of the tower in a way that would make sense, he decided to transcend the laws of matter, physics, I don't even know what to call it, and he transforms himself into liquid 24 karat gold, right? Which, period, okay? I would love to be showered in that. But to be pregnant afterwards? What's going on? That's exactly what happens. Danae is just chilling, walking around in the main area of her tower, and all of a sudden, gold just starts falling from the ceiling. I feel like any person with a brain would be like, that's not normal, I probably shouldn't stand under it and bask in it. Danae was not like that. And in this process, Zeus brings a whole new meaning to the term golden shower. So from this, like I said earlier, Danae becomes pregnant from this golden shower, right? And she is pregnant with Perseus. And when Perseus heard news of this, he was first of all very confused, and then Danae explained he was no longer confused, because like I said, we are in mythology. People can get pregnant any kind of way in mythology. golden showers by cows, by bulls, by swans. You can burn any kind of way here. It's quite scary, honestly. It's really scary. So Acrisius lets Danae go through her entire pregnancy and waits to see what the gender of the child is once it's born. And once it's born, obviously, like the prophecy foretold, it was a boy, and it was Perseus. So he decided not to kill them because it is still his daughter and it is still his grandson. So he just decides to lock them in a chest and throw them into the sea. Thankfully though, they survive and they wash up on the island of Seriphus, where the fisherman Dictys sees the crate, opens it up, and is like, what the fuck? Can you imagine that though? Like being a fisherman and seeing a giant crate wash up on the side of like the shore, right? And you're thinking, oh my god, it could be treasure in there, I could be set for life, jewels, rubies, everything, gold, anything. And you open it and it's a woman and her child. What have you been through? Why are you in this predicament? After rescuing these two, he kind of served as like a father figure to Perseus and helped Danae raise him on the island of Seriphus. Many years go by. Who the fuck knows what Acrisius got going on right now? Like, who the hell knows? While living on the island of Seriphus, obviously, Danae is still Danae. Yes, she was tossed into a crate and thrown into the sea. That is very true. But that does not take away her royalty heritage, okay? So she's still a princess of Argos. And since she's in Seriphus, there is a king of Seriphus. Picking the one I'm putting down? So the king of Seriphus wants to marry Danae. Perseus ain't having it. He is the mama's boy blueprint, okay? You thought Ares was? No, this man is. His name is King Polydectes, and the best way I can describe him is one of those guys that likes dating women with kids, but then don't like the kids, you know? Specifically the ones that date women with sons and then get mad when the mom is paying attention to her son because that's her son, and he's threatened by the presence of another boy. Those people are so weird. So he decides to send Perseus on a mission, on some shit being like, oh, we need you to go and slay this beast for the safety of our city. More importantly, the safety of your mom. And Perseus is just like, I mean, you know, I don't really give a rat's ass about you or y'all niggas, but like, I will definitely save my mom. So, what's going on? What's the problem here? King Polydectes says that he wants Perseus to bring him the head of Medusa the Gorgon. So he's sending him on a suicide mission, hoping that he'll die, so he can marry Danae with no protest. This nigga is sick in the head. Okay. And Medusa, there is a whole other video about her that I will make because her story is something that needs to be in an entirely different video and does not need to be like combined with anyone else's. So while all this is going on, you already know that I've said multiple times before, the gods are always watching, always waiting to hear someone say some bullshit, say some fuck shit, say some funny shit, or some messy shit. And right now we're in some messy shit. Athena and Hermes were listening by onto what Polydectes was demanding Perseus to do. Because, you know, at the end of the day, he is their half-brother, right? So Athena gives him a bronze shield that's very reflective that will help him destroy Medusa, even though she's the one that created her. This will help him defeat Medusa without him having to actually look at her, which is the main purpose of defeating her. To help him maneuver around Medusa during this mission, Hermes gives him winged sandals. You know them shits from Percy Jackson, the winged Converses? He gives him winged sandals. And he also gets 2 extra things from these 3 old ladies called the Graiae. So the Graiae were 3 old women who shared 1 eye and 1 tooth. In Clash of the Titans, they look crazy. In Hercules, the animated film, for some reason, they're the Fates. I don't really get that. So they give him the cap of invisibility and a magic bag. So this is where it gets kind of weird and tricky. So Perseus, with his new shoes, he flies into Medusa's lair where she and her sisters are sleeping, because it's Medusa Gorgon and the Gorgon sisters, so it's a bunch of them. And in this lair, as soon as he gets there, the first thing he sees are just a bunch of random ass like statues everywhere. And you'd be like, what the fuck is going on? But these are people who have come to try and kill her and her sisters in the past. Stuck. Using the shield as a mirror, he sneaks up from behind and cuts Medusa's head off. This is where it gets weird, okay? Pegasus, right? The horse with wings. Y'all know how big horses are, right? Pegasus comes out of her body from the neck. And Chrysaor, a golden warrior, also comes up. So we got mammals coming out, and then we got warriors coming out. It's so much happening right now. Obviously, the other sisters were asleep, and they would obviously be woken up by the sound of a giant horse coming out of someone's neck. They wake up, they see their sister headless, and these two random beings that just popped out of it, and they're obviously mad. But Perseus, to avoid accountability and conflict, he puts on the cap of invisibility and becomes invisible. He takes Medusa's head and puts it inside the magic bag, which I can only assume it keeps it from falling out or keeping it alive, maybe? I have no idea. So just like many Greek stories of this kind of caliber, getting home after some kind of physical altercation, any kind of altercation, always is like pulling teeth. On his way home from the lair, Perseus runs into a absolutely another problem that has nothing to do with him, but he will stop and fix it until everything is all right and ready. And this next bit is the main plot of Clash of Titans, okay? And we have Princess Andromeda, okay? Andromeda was a princess of ancient Ethiopia, which is ancient Nubia, right? And she was in the process of being sacrificed. Yeah. Cat, why the fuck was she being sacrificed? Bro, I shit you not, we have nobody to blame but Portia Featherington. I'm not even lying. Go watch the movie. She decided at one point during the feast or whatever to blatantly boast her arrogance in terms of how beautiful Andromeda was. Now, like it is in mythology, and I honestly low-key believe this, I can't lie to you. You can say a person is beautiful, right? You can say a person is gorgeous, very, very beautiful, just a beautiful, pretty girl, a beautiful, pretty guy, right? But you cannot say they are more beautiful than Aphrodite or Venus. That is what she did, because you are putting yourself above a god, which is blasphemous. So when someone did that, they were often always cursed or punished by Aphrodite herself or someone else. In the movie, it was by someone else on behalf of Aphrodite. It was a part of a whole, kind of. But Cassiopeia, who was Andromeda's mother, Queen Cassiopeia had said that Andromeda was very, very beautiful and was more beautiful than the goddess Aphrodite herself. Aphrodite was like, you're smoking crack, okay? And demanded a sacrifice of her daughter to a sea monster, or the sea monster would ravage the city. Now, in the movie, the sea monster is the Kraken. The Kraken is not part of Greek mythology. I'm gonna save you that shit right now. It's not part of Greek. It's part of Norse, not part of Greek. Perseus arrives and is like, this is a lot. Y'all got a lot going on. So he swoops in, takes Medusa's head out of the bag, puts it at the sea monster, is like, man, stone. The sea monster is then turned into stone. Andromeda is taken off of the sacrificial rock, and he ends up marrying her, right? It's not that bad of a union. It's a princess of Ethiopia and technically a prince of Argos, because like I said, Danae is still a princess. He is born from a princess and a god. He's a princely demigod. So it's not like he's a commoner. Back at Seriphus, Polydectes is still harassing Danae for the coup. That's right. Perseus makes it back just in time with Andromeda and the head, and is like, listen, I have your head, step off. And when he refuses, he takes the head out of the bag, puts it in front of its face. Now he's stoned. Did we think this through? We don't know. So he blatantly does not care about the line of succession in Seriphus, because as soon as this is all said and done, they just go back to Argos to try to reconcile with King Acrisius, who is still alive. He ends up giving the Gorgon head to Athena, and Athena just puts it on her shield. Work? But this is where it's kind of funny, because it's like, what are the fucking odds? So like I said, Perseus was back on his way to Argos to reconcile with his grandfather, right? Just to get back in the line of succession, because like he's already married to a princess, so he like kind of has to get back in the line of succession like immediately. While in Argos, he enters a discus competition. You know what that is? Yeah, you following? Okay. He throws it too hard, because he is a demigod, and he completely misses the mark of where the discus was to go. And you know where the disc goes? Cracks King Acrisius right in the skull, and he dies. You know how much easier it would have been and less painful and less gruesome had he just raised him as a regent, like I said. But get this, he doesn't even take the kingdom like the prophecy foretold. He leaves it and is like, I can't do this. I can't take the kingdom and I just killed my grandfather on accident by throwing a disc at his face. I can't do this. So instead of just inheriting a kingdom, he goes and founds another. He founds the kingdom and city of Mycenae. Where have I heard Mycenae before? The motherfucker Agamemnon, bro. Agamemnon is a descendant of this man. What do we learn? I think this is one of the rare cases of a popular mama's boy that did not have a weird relationship with his mother, just a protective one. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye!